made good use of, this could be one of the best conjunctions and one of the best synergistic energies to have in your horoscope. Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We have been doing this series of planets in different houses from the moon, and we have covered a number of planetary placements. So far, I have kept one of the best placements from the moon of Jupiter as one of the last placements, but this is one of the best attributes that you can get of moon's relationship vis-a-vis Jupiter. So, firstly, when moon and Jupiter vis-a-vis each other get in different houses from each other, whether in conjunction or in kendra to each other, then we know that it is also the Gajkesari yoga, one of the most auspicious yogas in astrology. So, a number of good prosperous results, abundance bringing results can come from Jupiter's different placements from the moon, as long as both of them are in good houses, good signs. So let's jump in and understand Jupiter's placement of different houses from the moon, what kind of manifestation it will bring, what kind of possibilities, probabilities will bring for us, and what kind of results it can bring to us. Now when Jupiter is conjunct with the moon or in the first house from the moon or with the moon, which is all the same thing. So here Jupiter and moon expand each other's attributes. Jupiter expands the empathy, the understanding, the attachment, the nourishment, the supportive tendencies of the moon, whereas moon will add its understanding, its empathy, its creativity to the expansion bringing wisdom oriented energies of Jupiter. So that's why this is such a powerful placement when moon and Jupiter are together. And so this can bring in a lot of abundance, it can bring in a lot of creativity, it can bring a lot of strong wisdom oriented approach to life, your purpose in life, your different manifestations concerning how you make your decisions, how you are able to combine your strong emotional intelligence which moon brings in, emotionality that the moon brings in, empathy, understanding, creativity that moon brings in with the wisdom and the expansive energies, abundance bringing energies of Jupiter. That's why it's such a fantastic combination, such a fantastic concoction. So if this is a placement in your horoscope where moon and Jupiter are conjunct or first from each other or together in any horoscope, then this is a fantastic placement. Overall good results can come to you. This is the person who in the approach to life will bring in how they can approach different areas of life with a wisdom orientedness, thinking through, making practical decisions, making wise decisions, but also with a certain degree of understanding of what life means, what their interests are, in which direction they want to move. They will also be very mindful of what my own aptitude is, where is my intelligence, what are those strengths which the zodiac has given to me. So only after deep understanding and basis how wisely you take decisions in that trajectory to get to your purpose of life, to make goals oriented with bringing in both the strengths of the moon and Jupiter. So this is a person who can also be very attached to learning. So through learning and through life's different experiences, these people will also create different milestones from time to time. They may sometimes also plan backwards. They are people who will think, okay, in 10 years where do I need to reach? So if I need to reach there in 10 years, where should I be at the end of 7 years? If I have to reach a certain milestone at the end of 7 years, then where should I be at the end of 5 years? Then where should I be at the end of 3 years, and where should I be at the end of 1 year? They will work back. So with a lot of practicality and with a mix of wisdom, empathy, understanding and the thoughtful decision making, then these people make their decisions. So one of the most fantastic placements, bringing high prosperity and abundance. Only challenge can be this has to be in good houses as well, in good signs as well. So if this is a conjunction which gets, say for example, into the 8th house and in Scorpio, or in Capricorn, then this can be a lot of hard work for you to be able to manifest these energies, to be able to bring the prosperity and abundance out of this conjunction. Overall, still a very potent energies. One of the most potent energies concerning yogas in the horoscope is the conjunction of Moon and Jupiter, or Moon or Jupiter being first from the Moon. Now when Jupiter goes second from the Moon, this is the strong placement where your values, your principles, your nourishment, and your ability to earn, your ability to expand your earning, because Jupiter has gone second from the Moon, is all connected to your wisdom, your intellect, your ability to see where the nourishment will come from. So Moon will give you the creativity to know what your strengths are, where you need to move, in which direction you need to move, what milestones to choose, so that you get a higher remuneration and higher livelihood and higher earnings. And then Jupiter will add the strength for you to be able to take these wise decisions over a period of time with the patience, with the perseverance, and then be able to move through those milestones, move through those trajectories, specifically aim more at getting higher earning, higher livelihood, higher nourishment, higher support from your earnings, your earning potential. So this is a very strong placement, money bringing, abundance bringing placement, where you are this is a placement where you will not have a dearth of nourishment, or you may not go hungry, or at least you will not have to struggle too hard to make your ends meet. This makes life slightly easy on the nourishment front, and to be able to get a decent remuneration, decent earnings, and slowly expanding your earnings, especially if Jupiter is placed in fantastic signs. Moon is also placed in very good signs. For example, Moon is in Cancer and Jupiter goes second from it in Leo sign. Very, very good placement, very, very potent energy. On the flip side, if this Jupiter gets, for example, into the Capricorn sign while Moon is in Sagittarius, this may bring about a high degree of emotionality and connected to spirituality, connected to high learning. But Jupiter, because Jupiter has gone into a more debilitation oriented placement, then this can bring in more challenges. So in which house, in which sign Jupiter is getting second from the Moon also becomes very important. But still, whatever be the situation, the person will keep high principles, high values, will have a strong attachment to their community, to the extended family also, will not leave any person out of their bracket, will not leave any emotional drawbacks in how they are able to connect to the family, and will take care of everybody around them, especially not only their own family, extended family, and having very, very strong willpower, having the steadfastness which the second house also brings. So if Moon and Jupiter are in good signs, then Jupiter getting into the second house from the Moon can give you high remuneration, high earning potential. Use it to your advantage, because Jupiter will expand. But ensure that you are emotionally intelligent, you don't fall prey to high emotionality or high anxiety or frustration, because that could become a impediment to high earnings, high material positions as well. Now when Jupiter goes third from the Moon, this is one of the very good placements to use your communication on the bedrock of wisdom and with the emotional intelligence of the Moon. This is a person who can be very, very creative in marketing, in influencing people, in consulting, in guiding, in teaching. This is a person who's very wise and will be able to give sometimes even unsolicited advice to people. And many times people also approach this person, asking the person to give them advice, asking the person to lead them, asking the person to guide them. And this can be a very good placement for people who are teachers, who are advisors, who are consultants, but also people who practice on their own. This can be a very good placement for somebody who's a guide on the social media, uses the electronic platform, the social media platform, to reach out to people, to then share their expertise with people, to guide people on the electronic media. Could also be a guide or consultant connected to money, connected to teaching, connected to the arts. Can be somebody who can also be a good singer. In some way, somebody who can use their limbs very well to guide people, to consult people. Can be somebody who is a good music teacher, for example, teaches people how to use their limbs to create great music. So overall, a very fantastic placement. A person who's very wise, thinks through before they say something, and weighs their words. If they feel that a word is slightly damaging, then they will avoid it. If they feel that they have maybe spoken more than they should, then they will be quick to take the words back, even apologize. Because for them, the bedrock of great results that they can get in life through their effort is through wise communication, more intelligent communication as well. And this is also placement where a person over a period of time can build their own, through their own self-enterprise, even an empire, where they can use their expertise and the learning that they have got. So this is a person who works hard, because the third house from any house is also hard work about that house. So here the person works hard on curbing the emotional nature, curbing the anxious nature, and using the wisdom to then be able to influence people and get people to act in the manner that they want. So overall, a very good placement, as long as you are able to curb the emotional side and maybe emphasize on the wisdom oriented side, the wise side. But because if Jupiter is third from the moon, moon is 11th from Jupiter, if you are able to do that, then fantastic gains can come for the person, wherever, whatever their emotional side wants, whatever their softer side wants, those wishes and desires, the zodiac helps to achieve, as long as you are able to keep the wisdom on your side, you are able to keep the emotional side down. Now Jupiter fourth from the moon, extremely strong placement, because firstly, Jupiter in the fourth house gets exalted, because the fourth house has Cancer sign energies. Jupiter, we know, gets exalted in the Cancer sign. So when Jupiter goes forth from the moon, this is a very, very strong Gajkesari Yoga, where Jupiter will give you almost close to exalted results, because forth from the moon does not need be that Jupiter is in Cancer sign. It can be in any sign. However, this is one of the best placements for Jupiter, where because of the wisdom, the person over a period of time, through how they make wise decisions, how they are patient, how they persevere, then they create the harmony, the peace, the tranquility, and build huge assets. So if the person works on their ability to be patient, to learn from the experiences, use their educational qualifications to establish credibility, and then through the use of their higher learning, through their educational qualification, and through the learning and whatever the qualification combined with experiential learning is, then the person can make huge assets. This is a person who will also expand the happiness at home, the peace and tranquility at home, and overall, over a period of time, huge assets can be built, as long as the placement of Jupiter forth from the moon is in good signs. So if Jupiter goes forth from the moon, where both of them are not placed in the best of houses, then there can be more challenging placement. For example, if moon is in the 8th house and Jupiter goes in the 11th house, then your ability to be able to make all your wishes and desires come true, because Jupiter is in the 11th, will face obstacles because moon is in the 8th house. Especially if Jupiter also goes into tough sign, or moon goes into tough sign. For example, moon is in the 8th house and in Scorpio sign, Jupiter goes forth from it in Aquarius sign, and in the 11th house, Jupiter doesn't do the best of doesn't give you the best of results in Aquarius, because Aquarius is the Multikona sign of Saturn. So as long as Jupiter forth from the moon is in fantastic signs, is in good houses, this can give you the huge unlimited abundance, unlimited prosperity, as long as you are able to keep the wisdom oriented side balanced with the emotional oriented side. This can also give you very good results from a career perspective, because when Jupiter is forth from the moon, moon is 10th from Jupiter. So if you are able to be very wisely guided, connected to work, then huge assets can be built over a period of time connected to work. You will be more emotionally intelligent at work rather than at your home, and you will be wiser at home but be more emotionally intelligent at work, and through that you are able to keep good relations with supervisors, with managers, and through that create abundance for yourself. Now when Jupiter goes 5th from the moon, this is a very good placement and one of the best placements, second only to Jupiter going 4th from the moon. This is because when Jupiter goes 5th from the moon, moon is 9th from Jupiter. Both the placements are very, very good placements, being in trine houses from each other. So on the one hand, Jupiter, because it is 5th from the moon, will give you a high degree of practical logic and emotionally intelligent orientation towards wherever you make a career change, because the 5th house is the 8th house to the 10th house. So whenever this person wants to make a career change, the person will think through wisely, will weigh the pros and cons, will not be very emotional, jumping into any decision without thinking. Even if a very good offer comes to them, they will take maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks before they take that offer, and they will weigh both the pros and cons, how much assets they can build, how much material result that they can get, and also growth. This is a very learning oriented person. This person wants to learn through life experiences and learn on the job. If the person's learning is not there, just the earning is there, and the person is not able to grow in the person's career at work because of how the earning is coming from higher learning, expanding the learning through learning from experiences at work, then these people will be more attracted to making that job change rather than making the job change or changing the job only for material remuneration or earning related actions. So overall, a fantastic placement from earning through strong, wise changes in your career. And this can also be a very good placement for making wise decisions related to investments, because Jupiter will be learning from how through their various changes in the financial market, what is working, what will not work, keeping their patience, not running just because a share of some stock price is hiking or rising, they'll not jump into it. They'll weigh the pros and cons and then take a decision which is not an emotional decision but a thought through, wise, investment oriented decision. And because of that, gains will also come because they are also learning over a period of time. This is a very good placement of also wise decision making connected to your romantic relationship. This may initially the first 2 or 3 relations, because you're jumping into emotional decision making, then falling flat on your face and then realizing I need to be wiser when I'm looking at a long-term relationship. So maybe a teenager in the first 2 or 3 relations goes down the drain, the relationship doesn't work, and then they learn that okay, romance is something which can also lead to heartbreak. So rather than becoming an emotional fool, let me become a wiser person, learn from the heartbreak. So initially after 1 or 2 flops in the romantic relation, then using both the emotional intelligence which the moon gives them, because they are ready to learn, they are ready to educate themselves, because Jupiter is 5th from the moon, and what can be more wise and learn from the educational experience through a situation rather than Jupiter. So then learning from this flip-flops in romance and learning from that, then they do very well in their romantic liaisons also, romantic relations also. This person becomes wiser and brings in more stable relations and more successful relations over a period of time. So very good perspective on relations, on career changes, on investments is this placement. If you have this placement Jupiter 5th from the moon, as long as they are in good houses, good sign, this is one of the best placements to have after Jupiter 4th from the moon. Now when Jupiter goes 6th from the moon, this is one of the toughest placements among all the other placements of Jupiter from the moon, because when Jupiter goes 6th from the moon, moon goes 8th from Jupiter, and this is only second to or second damaging placement when Jupiter goes 8th from the moon, because then moon goes 6th from Jupiter. So when Jupiter goes 6th from the moon, this will help you to use your wisdom to overcome challenges, issues of competition, problems, sicknesses also with your wisdom. So a person, for example, who's not keeping good health, then learns that okay, health is very important and I can't maybe misuse opportunities of eating or just putting anything in your stomach, or not taking care of your health, not walking, not exercising, not having a maybe disciplined regimen of food. This is just one example, and because of which not facing the challenges of the 6th house, because then over a period of time diabetes, cholesterol, high weight, all those challenges may come in. This is also placement that you may also go through some sort of a chronic ailment, because of which you may also require medication or even surgeries. Even minor surgeries may come to the person if the energies are not conducive to you. This is also placement where sometimes you may make enemies because of not being wise enough, especially if Jupiter doesn't go into good houses from the moon. Then unnecessarily, because of not making the wise connections, you make enemies out of a placement. And because you make enemies, then you fall flat on your face, 2-3 times, learn from the experience and then become wiser. This is also placement where you can get into debts or need to take debts because you have not made wise financial decisions earlier on. But learning from your decisions, your experiences, then you become wiser over a period of time. Then you're able to curb those challenges. Somebody may also face court cases or police cases or have to face the judiciary, go to a court of law to maybe, sometimes this may be because of using your wisdom, you're able to overcome those challenges. But maybe once in your life or sometime maybe more time, you have to face the judiciary and you have to be at the good or the wise end or the good or the bad end of judiciary also with this placement. This could also mean, especially for women, because Jupiter is 6th from the moon, if you're not emotionally intelligent enough, if you're not wise enough and you don't make choices as with husbands or with partners who are wise, who are calm, not abusive, who are not somebody who cheats you, somebody who's not looking at your money, somebody who brings the calmness in your life, who brings the calm, the poise and the smoothness in your life, somebody who's very patient and persevering, then your emotional well-being also comes from Jupiter, because Jupiter then adds to the calmness of the mind. If not, if Jupiter is not placed in good houses and not placed in good signs, placed in challenging placements, then this can bring about more emotional trauma to you, more emotional challenges to you, especially for women, because Jupiter is the Karaka of husband and bring in those challenges. For men, you may also not have great relations with your colleagues at work if you're not wise. So this is a placement where over a period of time, making the right choices, wise choices, rather than oriented at money or remuneration or status in life or looks. So if you're making extremely material oriented results and chasing the materialism, then there may be a challenge. And many times you may misread people. You may misread who is actually your well-wisher from actually who means bad for you. So you end up making the choices who end up with people as colleague or as bosses or in partnership or as a husband who may not be the best for you, because you have rushed into things or you have not made practical decision making, or you have chosen those people who may give you the high status, money or chasing looks rather than stability. So this is a placement over a period of time you gain from and then get prosperous, get abundance only when you get wiser with age. And so this is a initial struggle in life, maybe even till your 40s, before very good results come if you learn with your wisdom rather than fall prey to your emotional challenge. Jupiter 7th from moon is an excellent placement because one, this is a Gajkesari yoga oriented placement because moon and Jupiter are in mutual aspect. This is even a better placement than moon and Jupiter conjunct. The reason being is here Jupiter will expand the emotional intelligence of moon, the harmony, the peace, the tranquility of the moon, and moon will add to Jupiter the emotional intelligence but also the softness, the understanding, the empathetic nature. So this is a person who's very balanced in their emotional perspective, how they deal with people, because Jupiter 7th from the moon means when you are emotionally getting connected to other people who you meet on a day-to-day basis. So here there is a balance between how you are emotionally able to connect with people but also wise or wisdom oriented approach. So this may be a person who knows that a person is going through emotional challenges, issues, but will not fall prey to also becoming too emotional in the situation. The person may feel empathetic toward the other person but will use their wisdom to be able to handle, support, nourish and do or take care of the person. So this is a balanced placement, especially over a period of time, using your emotional intelligence to then partner with people. So the partnership that you make, the acquaintances that you make with people, or your ability to work in a team is strongly enhanced, and you get great results, prosperity oriented results, abundance oriented results, because moon and Jupiter and in the Gajkesari yoga and balancing each other's energies. So if you are able to use your wisdom and if you are able to balance your emotional intelligence, this can bring you great results. Most of your relations can be not only be balanced but also built on patience, built on shared motivation, built on shared principles and values, and then gaining from it. So initially, of course, you will have to be wise in those acquaintances, wise in those partnerships, and when you are able to do that, this can bring you a lot of material benefits, relationship oriented benefits also, and a very good balance between how you are able to gain out of the relationship, and the other relationship is also able to gain out of you. When Jupiter goes 8th from the moon, so yeah, this is one of the toughest placements to have, because Jupiter going 8th from the moon means moon is 6th from Jupiter. So this is the placement where the person initial part of life has to go through a lot of obstacles, challenges, issues, problems, and using your wisdom over a period of time, sometimes falling flat on your face, making mistakes, suffering those losses, suffering those challenges, then learns that okay, this is not the manner in which I need to face challenges, issues, obstacles, but I need to be more wise. So you make some decisions, they fall flat, then you learn from that. Then you get into another obstacle, another challenge, then you learn from that. And then slowly, with baby steps built over a period of time, then you realize that the 8th house is not only about obstacles and challenges that you face, but you need to learn from the experience and then also become a guide, counsel, problem solver, healer to other people. So this can be a very good placement of healers, problem solvers who themselves, after facing challenges, issues, then learn from those experiences and then help and support other people. This is a very strong transformation oriented placement, which means that because of you going through obstacles, challenges, problems, then you go through a transformation of the mind and you become wiser through the transformation. So usually you will find that the first half of your life will be very different from the second half. Or let's say you divide your life into years of 10 years each or decades each. So every decade you will find that you are a very different person. People who know you over years will tell you that you have changed a lot, you have mellowed a lot, you have become much more wiser, you have become more calmer, and then you become a very good guide to other people who themselves are going through challenges or issues. You not only become a healer, problem solver for others, but this can also be a great placement to be a very good counselor, even a relationship counselor or somebody who guides people, even governments through the expertise. Very good placement for research also. Very good placement also for money, other people's money, or guiding people in other people's money. So somebody who gets into taxation, audits, wealth management, and through that support guides people through not to face obstacles in their management of money and resources. So built over a period of time, very good results may come to the person. However, if the person is not wise enough, doesn't make wise decisions, then unnecessary challenges, problems of the mind may come in, because moon is 6th from Jupiter. So this person may go through unnecessary frustration, anxieties, depression oriented situation also. At least in the first half of life, if you are not learning from those mistakes, then you may have to learn through these, then overcome all those challenges to then lead a better, more wiser, more calmer second half of life. However, if they are placed in very good signs and houses from each other, 8th from each other, or Jupiter 8th from moon, then you may still get fantastic results. For example, if moon is in the 4th house and Jupiter goes into the 11th house, then this can give better results than, say for example, when moon goes into the Lagna and then Jupiter goes into the 8th house. So those denotations will also bring in their own flavor when Jupiter goes 8th from the moon. Now when Jupiter goes 9th from the moon, this is one of the best placements, and this is a placement where Jupiter is going into the trine houses from the moon, and moon also goes into the trine house from Jupiter. This is a fantastic placement to gain a lot of goodness, prosperity, abundance using your educational qualification. This can also get you attached to higher qualification learning. Either you learn from your higher qualifications, getting high credibility, or you also learn from life's experiences, maybe facing pitfalls initially. But this can also initially make you strongly getting connected to gurus or people who are mentors to you, so you learn from them, you learn from the experiences, and over a period of time you end up becoming a guru yourself, where you are guiding people, you are counseling people, you are consulting people also. Sometimes you also become a consultant through your educational qualification, becoming a guru, becoming an expert, and then using that expertise to counsel others, to guide others, and becoming a guru in your own field. This can also be a good placement where you end up becoming a teacher, a guide, a counsel connected to education. You may end up becoming head of a religious institute or an educational institute, or you can also become somebody who is able to lead a team or become the owner of a travel agency. People who can be connected to people of different cultures around the world, and through their wisdom, through the strong acquaintances, learning from them, and then bring in prosperity and abundance. Somebody who loves to travel, somebody who can be very witty, somebody who loves fun adventure, yet is patient enough, wise enough, and then to be able to get the best gains set over a period of time. So this is also a person who can be slightly more spiritual rather than religious, but at the same time has a very strong faith and belief in values and principles, and using their high learning, spiritual learning from the experiences, building huge abundance, huge prosperity, and more than anything else, building strong acquaintances from people across cultures. So people who don't allow religious differences to come between their connections with others, or cultural difference to come from or when they're different from others, but in fact use them to be able to build bridges, and then they prosper and other people also prosper, is the placement of Jupiter 9 from the moon. When Jupiter goes 10th from the moon, this is again a Gajkesari yoga, because Jupiter is in the Kendra house from the moon. When Jupiter is 10th from the moon, moon goes 4th from Jupiter. So very, very strong placement. So this is the person who over a period of time, through the emotional intelligence which moon brings in and the wisdom that Jupiter teaches them, orients them, manifests them, then they use that to be able to work better results in their careers. How they deal with supervisors, how they deal with managers, how they deal with higher ups, how they deal with power centers, is all about learning from the experiences. So initially the person uses the intellect, moon's intelligent intellect and the capacity to understand, empathize with people, empathize even with their bosses and supervisors, and through that empathy, through that understanding, through those experiences, through those connections, contacts, then slowly becomes wiser. And because they become wiser, their ability to deal with those situations will also come across as more balanced. And then the supervisors also start to have more faith in them, have more belief in their abilities also, and also on their wise counsel. So this is a placement where a person over a period of time ends up becoming a master, a guru at their work, not only in their own earning which they are getting through their educational qualification, but understands the business very well, has a wise capacity to be able to connect different dots, understand the business holistically, and then to be able to guide even the senior most leaders to then become a part of the strategy team, helping others strategize, helping others make more stronger decisions, and for not only their own gains but the gains of the department, organization, and sometimes even the industry. So this is a good placement overall if you are able to use your wisdom, which works to your advantage and advantage of your team and your department. However, if moon and Jupiter 10th and 4th from each other are in tough signs, in tough houses, then this can bring in more challenges to the person rather than getting very good prosperous gains. Then there, for example, if Jupiter and moon are in 6th and the 9th house, where moon is in the 9th house and Jupiter is in the 6th house. So moon being in the 9th house will bring about a strong connection to spirituality, to high learning, high experiences, high gains also, but Jupiter has gone into the 6th house, which means you'll have to face competition, challenges and issues. Use your high learning, even your strong faith and belief, and then be able to do well in your service or your career. So this can be a tricky placement if Jupiter and moon go into tough houses or tough signs. However, on the whole, if they are in good houses and good signs, this is one of the most fantastic placements to get very strong career gains and to be able to build your career over a period of time, and also then through that be able to build assets, because moon has gone 4th from Jupiter. So if you're focusing more in your career, on your work, making those wise decisions, making intellectual decisions, huge abundance oriented assets which you can make, material gains can also come to you when Jupiter is 10th from the moon. Now when Jupiter goes 11th from the moon, this is a very, very strong placement where using your intellect, where you're using your emotional intellect to be able to then get all your wishes and desires come true, because Jupiter has gone 11th from the moon. However, if Jupiter is 11th from the moon, then moon is 3rd from Jupiter, which means you'll have to work hard to curb your emotionality and work harder on your wisdom to be able to get higher gains and to be able to get more material gains also, and material desires also coming true. This is also a good placement where through your emotional intellect, through your ability to understand, through your ability to empathize, then you make very strong connections, very strong societal connections. You may have fewer friends because you're more wise who to make friends with and who not to make friends with, but those decisions will be based on a wise platform, on a platform based on your experiences. So sometimes initially you may fall flat on your faces because moon is 3rd from Jupiter, and after working hard, not to rush into emotional decision making. Somebody says, I need money, I'm going through some challenges, and you're rushing to the person's help only to know that you've been somebody who's been fooled. And then through learning through that experience, then you know not to rush into relations, but being able to understand over a period of time through your wisdom, a better understanding of people, a better understanding of society, how society functions, better understanding of your societal responsibilities, and then using the emotional intellect and Jupiter's capacity to be wise, not only to give back to society but also gain from society. So this is a person who slowly over a period of time, using both the emotional connect, emotional intellect connect and your wisdom, then slowly rises and becomes somebody who's at a very high designation in large organization and contributes to large societal causes also. So somebody who's an expert in a large societal oriented role in the large corporation, in the large organization, and through that is able to give back to society, get gains from their ability to be able to connect with people, making societal connects, and be able to balance between how much they're giving back for societal causes and also working large organization and making those connections with the right people, making the strong network connection and then gaining from that. So somebody who through their wisdom and the emotional connect, emotional intelligence over a period of time may also become somebody who has mass adulation, mass following, as somebody who's a guru in their subject, guru in their own right, somebody who's very, very wise, somebody who can also become a wise counsel for multitude of masses, also somebody who can also be a spiritual guru for others also. So overall, as long as you're able to curb the emotional side of the moon, make emotional, intellectual decision making, curbing the emotional challenges of the moon, the frustrations and anxieties, and depending more on wisdom, a very strong, prosperous, abundance-oriented placement is when Jupiter goes 11th from the moon. When Jupiter goes 12th from the moon, so when Jupiter goes 12th from the moon, moon is 2nd from Jupiter. So this is the placement where a person over a period of time will be able to make a lot of material gains because moon has gone 2nd from the Jupiter, but only when the person is able to seclude themselves from chasing materialism. So material results come out of not chasing materialism but focusing more on the spiritual growth, focusing more on the individual growth, focusing on curbing the waste and expenses in chasing materialism. So rather than chasing unnecessary tangents, going off on a tangent, not knowing whether you will be able to grow as a person there and not losing your track, focusing on self-development. The more you work on self, the more you're able to learn, the more you're able to curb those challenges, those issues, not being able to go on the tangent, making irresponsible decision making, making castles on the air, but working on your own belief in yourself, curbing those limitations that you have, working on and ironing the challenges that you have within yourself, growing as a person, and also becoming more spiritual, not only to how you see the world, how do you see your life, how do you see the purpose of life, and becoming spiritual to even the challenges, the losses which may come to you, because Jupiter is in the 12th house from the moon. So if you're able to do that, then you will find that because of being more wiser, being more patient, being more giving, being more charitable, being somebody who is ready to work with people, sometimes secluding yourself to thinking deep within, even going into solitude or working in solitude also, then over a period of time making a lot of gains from it. Very good placement for people who can go to foreign lands, connect with foreign companies, connect with foreign clients, and through a very wise approach to working with people across cultures in MNCs, bringing in their guru energy, the expertise, and then making huge material benefits built over a period of time. So somebody who's more balanced, on one side is very spiritual, how they look at life, how they look at spirituality, how they look at life's purpose, how they look at leaving a legacy behind, and then making material benefits built over a period of time because of the expertise they have built over self-correction, self-improvement, focusing, doing away all the waste and excess and focusing only on that which will bring in gains not only to society but also to themselves. So one of the best placements for a high spiritual elevation after going through all the challenges and removing the waste and excess of materialism, but being somebody who is more balanced both on the worldly aspects as well as the spiritual aspects, taking a crack at moksha itself is the placement when Jupiter goes 12 from the moon. So friend, now that we have discussed how Jupiter in the 12 different houses from the moon will bring in different manifestations, bring in different results, please see in which houses moon is placed from, Jupiter is placed from moon, and which houses they are specifically placed, which signs they are placed, what dosha they are in, what aspect they are in, because those will bring in their own flavors, will bring in their own results as well. So friend, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time, some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.